Start now.
Hello, I'm teacher IKOMEZISHINGIRO Isaac. And now, just as you can see here, I would like to be teaching you effective English pronunciation. Why so? We have found that there are peculiarities of English pronunciation in such a way that it becomes somehow difficult for some people when it comes to speaking English. And that's why we would like to put our primary focus on effective English pronunciation, right? Okay. Now let's continue. Yeah, just as you see, our session rationale is this. Primarily, you have to think about this. What do we mean by effective pronunciation? As you see here, effective pronunciation refers to how words are pronounced in such a way that there are no grammatical or linguistic mistakes. Of course, it is vital that we delve deep supra-segmentals so as to make sure that we pronounce English words correctly. Okay? Mispronunciation is confused listeners and sometimes alter the original meaning of some words. And now, without dwelling on this, we would like to go to things that are going to make it easier for you to understand. Okay? Yeah. Now it has introduced effective pronunciation. As you've already seen, effective pronunciation refers to the way in which the words of a language are suitably made to sound when speaking. English language has peculiarities of pronunciation that so that we can face some challenges when it comes to speaking it. Okay? However, as a teacher, there are some tips that I can give you on how to pronounce English words effectively and thus overcome those challenges. Okay? As you see here, learning how to stress words correctly. Okay, it's all about the use of stress. There's a time when someone mispronounces something. It becomes difficult for listeners to understand what he or she is driving at. So when you are good at the use of stress, that is no longer one of your challenges. Okay? For example, if you continue, you are going to understand more. Don't have any problem because this is going to be clarified for the new see here. Okay? Learning how to stress words correctly in order not to confuse someone with whom you are in conversation. Take a look at the following words and try to pronounce them. Now, first of all, what we have photograph. Don't you see it? Photograph. Yeah. If you can see it, put your primary focus on the stress, then you see that the stress has been put here on P. Okay? To mean you cannot put a stress here on photograph, because it can sound like photograph, which is not correct. Rather, it is stressed like this. When you add something, okay, when you add something else on a word, there can be the stress can move to the other syllable because of suffix that has been added to the word. For example, here you see photography. Okay, the first word was photograph, and now it is no longer photograph, but it sounds like photography. Of course, you cannot say photography because that is not a good English. Okay, you better say photography. Why did this stress move? This stress has moved because of the fact that we have added the suffix here. Okay, we have added the suffix here, y. Okay, why so? Why can't I put the stress here on G? It's because of this y. If you have been given such word, make sure that you are going to start here and make as if going to work like this. Okay. You see, you have to go from this photography, this field. Okay. Okay. Now, just as you see, the stress has moved from P to tail. Why so? It's because of this y. This y you see here. Sorry. Yeah. See, this y has made it possible for this stress to move. We come from this. Okay, this, that is to say, 3 syllables backwards. Okay, 3 syllables backwards, then you get to straight that word. Because of what? Because of this y. For words ending in y, such as security, community, you count 3 syllables backwards, then you get to stress. Okay, don't have any problem. I know very much that you are going to understand more. Okay. Next, you see with words ending in IC, like here, and you can give your own examples about words sounding like this. Okay. For example, geographic. Okay, geographic, economic, academic, mathematics. Even that is and the same as this, okay? You count 2 syllables backwards. As far just as you see, the stress beforehand it was like this, okay, on P. And now we have added the y, then the stress moved to 2, okay? And now it is no longer on this T, rather it has moved to G. Because of what? It depends on the suffix that has been added on the word given. Okay. Now, ik has been added on photograph, and it no longer sounds like photographic, because it is a grammatical mistake or linguistic mistake. Okay. Now it is photographic. Now, guys, can you give your own examples of words like this? If so, what are they? Yeah, expected the answers would be like economic, materialistic, geographic, and things like. Because of it, when you have been given words like this, come from here, syllable, then second syllable, then you stress. It's because of this. Okay? It's because of this IC. Okay. And here it was 3 syllables backwards. Because of what? Because of this y. When you have been given y like this, words ending in y, you count 3 syllables backwards, then you get to stress. How? 1, 2, 3. It has been caused by this. And this has been caused by this very end. Okay? 1, 2, because of this ik. And mathematics. Now, here we have just seen how they are stressed differently. Okay? The more we add suffixes on some words, the more stress moves to other parts of word. Like I've been saying, the more you add a suffix on a word, the more stresses move. Okay? And now let's continue. Words ending in let us go to the words ending in these suffixes, okay? You see Y, okay? Also you see ER, you see you see 8, you see? Yeah, words like this. For words ending in those suffixes, you can give. For such words, we can give like community, security, facilitate. Of course, these are the examples of those words ending in the aforesaid syllable, aforesaid suffixes. Okay. For example, I've seen community. Now, help me count this. Okay. You see, there is niti, munity. How many syllables? 3 syllables. Because of what? Because of this Y. When you have been asked to stress such words, you have to count 3 syllables backwards. Like just as remember what we did here. So this is unity, community. Someone is standing from afar. Someone who is listening from afar, we say unity. We hear of unity. More than each and everything, okay? Then the stress is put here between these 2 M's, okay? Community, stress is here. Unity, okay? Then security. If when it happens like it, okay, you just think about this. Security, community, to mean unity, purity, okay, are the same. Facilitate. Now the stress is here and the stress is here on purity because of what? Because of this Y. And because of this Y. That's why the stress is here. Community, you understand? Security, purity, unity. They seem to sound alike, okay, when it comes to stresses. Now, still here on words ending in 80. If any word ends in 80, yeah, the same thing to apply, okay? Facilitate, Also we count 3 syllables backward. Then we get to stress. Tate, li, si. Then you stress here. You stress here. And I think you can give your own examples of words ending in 80. For example, communicate, okay? Communicate, educate, operate. Of course, you cannot say operate. No, that is not true. That is not correct. You better pronounce correct. You better pronounce facilitate, communicate. Don't say facilitate. Now I am facilitating, communicating. When you add ing, that cannot cause the stress to move. Okay? Say facilitate, communicate, operate, coordinate. Okay? Don't say coordinate. If you say coordinate, that is not true. Okay? It is not here only. I can give the other examples. Of course, these are the perfect examples to make you understand. And if you would like to delve them deep, you have to try to make up your own examples of words and take time to speak them correctly by putting your primary focus on the use of stress. Okay? The use of stress. If you know the meaning of a word without taking care of how it is stressed, I think it will take you a time to go back to those words, and I think that will be time consuming. You'd better find a word, then you learn about it. Yeah, you learn about how to stress it. and when necessary, you can think about words sounding like it. Then you give your own examples. It is through practices that we get to know English as we want. Okay? Yeah. Now let's continue. We have been talking of those words ending in 80. Yeah. Even when you add on those words, when you add ER or OR, the stress remains where it is. Okay? It doesn't move to any other syllable when you add such words. Okay? That is to say, facilitator. Okay? Facilitator. Don't say facilitator, because when you add OR, it cannot make a stress. Yeah, it does not cause stress to shift. Okay? Facilitator, communicator. Okay? Words like that. Don't have any problem about such things. Okay? Now, let's continue. Of course, you count 3 syllables backwards. Okay? Community, security, facilitate. Clear? For words, just because of these suffixes, the stress depends on the suffix that has been given, that has been added on given words. Okay? This T has made it necessary for these words to get stressed like this, because we count 3 syllables backwards, like we said. I think it is understandable. Okay? To understand more, you have to take time to consider your own examples of such words. Think about your own words. Don't memorize these words only, because there are more. There are more, but hardly can I list them all. Yes. When you are using a dictionary, you have to take care of how words have been written according to stress. Okay? According to how they are stressed. Why is community and security? Why is the community like security when it comes to stress? Okay, you have to think about that. Then you go on with the meaning of word from the dictionary. Okay? Now, yeah, they are stressed in the dictionary. This is the orientation that I can give you. Still, you should not get confused about words ending in eyes or eyes like this. Okay? Also, they are stressed like this, ending in Y, in 8, they are for said ones. They are stressed the same. Now, can you give me the examples? Of course, you must have thought about verbs like organize. So some people are making mistakes. Stress-related mistakes are made. In that, people say organize. That's not correct. You don't say organize. Count 3 syllables from that eyes. Okay? Nice, ga, o. 3 syllables. Of course, the stress is there on o. Organize. Organize. Okay? Organize. Okay? Examples here. You see, how do you read? Some people mispronounce it by saying recognize, but it is not true. It is not correct. Why so? You don't say recognize. If you say recognize like this, to me the stress is here on N, nice, okay, which is not correct. Say recognize, okay? It is not recognize, but it is recognize. Understand, but recognize. Now you can repeat. Okay? Recognize, not recognize. What? 1, 2, 3. Backwards. That's why the stress has been put here on this earth. Now, realize, not realize. Some people say, some people read realize, which is not good. Okay? It's not good. You better pronounce as realize, not realize. realize, recognize. It seems like they have the same rhythm. They have the same rhythm. Recognize, realize, lies, okay, just like this. Realize. Okay? Yeah. Then organize has been talked of. Okay? Now, give your own examples of such words and manage to stress them. However, a word is okay, greatest attention must be paid here. Okay? You see, these two ends in eyes. However, it is not stressed like those words which end in eyes. Why so? Of course, it is exceptional. It is the exception. Okay? How do we stress it? Of course, just as your eyes can show you, it is stressed like this. Okay? Surprise! Surprise! But most of the time, you can hear people mispronounce it like surprise. It is not correct. You'd better tell them that it is pronounced like surprise. Yeah. Surprise. I have been surprised. Okay? Don't say I have been surprised. No. I have been surprised. Okay? Now let's continue. Let's continue. Now let us go to words with their stresses in order to clarify it more. We are going to clarify it more. Those words are the following. First of all, I would like to let you take a look. First of all, think about this. It's a group work where you are. You can manage to sit with someone else who has a steep learning curve, and who can help you understand more about the use of stress. Okay? Now, give your own examples of words and stress them, like 10 words. Unfortunately, I cannot see you now because I'm far from you, but manage to give your own examples of words. And stress them according to what you have been taught, okay? What you have learned. Now, as you must have seen it, every English word has a definite place for the stress, and we are not allowed to change it. Of course, when you change it, it is no longer correct. Because the use of stress can even alter the meaning. It can alter the meaning. Most of the time, it is the first syllable which is the common place, but the other words which are stressed on the second syllable. Yeah, just as it has been seen before, we have seen that we should not change the stress. The stress cannot be changed. It changes, and it can be changed just having thought about those words, those suffixes. Now let's continue without dwelling on that. Let us see these examples. Okay? Words with the stress on the first syllable. Now you have seen here father. The stress on father. Bear in mind that it's stressed like this. Don't say father. Okay? It cannot be good. It is forbidden to say, to pronounce it as father. No. If you move the stress from this F to T, it is no longer father, but it has become father, which is not correct. Okay? Now, you'd better pronounce it like father. Okay? Now, excellent. Okay? Excellent. Sounding like different. President. Excellent. Yeah, the same stress. Also, there's interesting. Interesting. Don't pronounce interesting. We don't pronounce interesting. That is not correct. the correct pronunciation is interesting. Why so? Because the stress is here on this I. Clear? Yeah, I think we can see it from the same perspective. Okay? Are we on the same wavelength? Yeah, I think so. Okay, interesting. Yeah, and by yourself you can try to give your own examples of words like this. Now, number 2. Words with stress on the second syllable. Let us go to words with stress on second syllable. First example, about. Somebody standing there will immediately hear of be. To me, about, this A is not spoken aloud. Rather, you start speaking aloud on B, okay? That's why the stress is here. About. So don't say about. If you move this stress to A like this, it is no longer about. It is about, which is not correct. You better pronounce about. About. Okay? Now, before. Huh? Before. The stress is here on F. If you put the stress here, it is no longer correct. It can be no longer correct because you see, you cannot say before. No, that cannot sound correct. Okay. Now it is before. The stress is on F here. Now beginning. I'm really surprised, greatly, because most of the time. In conversations, some people make mistakes about pronouncing this word. It is not the beginning, from the beginning, not from the beginning, because we don't say to begin. And remember, this ing form does not cause any stress effect on the word. If the verb itself, a bare infinitive, okay, is stressed like this, when you add ing, it cannot cause any stress effect. The stress remains where it is. You just let it as it is. That's why we pronounce here beginning. Okay? Beginning. Okay. Imitate me when you're eating, because it can help you also. Now there is intelligent. You see, intelligent and different are stressed. Yeah, seem to have the same rhythm. Okay. Now preserve. Not you say prism. This preserve. Now let's continue. Yeah, very nice. Let's continue. Stressed and unstressed syllables. Stressed and unstressed syllables. Okay, what are they? Keep following, you are going to see. Okay, very nice. Normally, all words with one syllable, such as articles, pronouns, prepositions, are not stressed. They are not stressed. They remain as they are. Okay? Let them as they are. Example here. You have seen cow. A cow. Of course, you cannot use a stress. You let it as this because it is made up of one syllable. Yeah, it is made up of one syllable. Don't stress. For words with one syllable, don't stress them because this is absolutely forbidden. Okay? Head, can. Okay? Book. Okay? Boy. You should not. They are not stressed. they remain like they are, like you see them. Okay? Because of what? They are made up of one syllable. Okay? etc. You can take time to think about your own examples because I cannot afford to list. I cannot list them down. There are so many, just about a million words. Okay? Yeah, words with more than one syllable are stressed. If you see that any word has more than one syllable, you have to stress it, and stress it accordingly by respecting the aforesaid techniques. Okay? The aforesaid stress-related techniques in order not to make a mistake. Now, let's go to this. Okay? These are the examples. How do we read? Addict. 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 Okay? This is addict. To mean, it is not, if you put the stress here between these, okay? It will sound like addict. And you'd better stress here because this is where the stress, be that as it may, it has to be here. Okay? Now, fulfill. Repeat. Fulfill. Okay? Now, contrast. The stress is here on a C. Contrast. Disgust. This is on gust. Disgust. No, don't pronounce disgust. Disgust. Not disgust. Disgust. Okay? Beautiful. Don't say, for example, if you move a stress to this T, how can it sound? Yeah, it can be pronounced as beautiful, which is not correct, which would not sound good. Okay, you'd better pronounce it like beautiful. Why so? Because the stress has been put here on B. The stress has been put on B. And we are going to pronounce it like beautiful, like this. Like this, okay? Now let's continue. And I think that you are not going to disappoint me by making so many mistakes when it comes to stresses. Okay? Now, let's go to the next thing. What is it? Yeah, stress placement and stress shift. Stress placement and stress shift. Shifting means moving. The stress shifts from one place to the other depending on what is happening to the bird. Okay? The word refers to, okay? Now, when the suffix is added to the verb, it causes the stress to shift to another syllable. Yeah, it causes the word to move to another syllable. Okay? Example. You see, you have been given an example here. Okay? This is advantage. We pronounce it as advantage. That's all. Advantage. Then, when you add something else, like when you add this suffix on this advantage, the stress is no longer where it was before. Why so? Yeah, it's just because of what we call suffix, making it necessary for words to be stressed differently. Okay? Yeah, advantage. How do we read here? Advantage. But here it is advantageous. Yeah. If you have a smartphone and you have the dictionary app, you can click on that microphone sign. Then then you hear that it is pronounced as advantageous. Advantageous, advantage. Okay? Because of this stress. Stress is here on V. Now it is on T, as you see. Okay? I think we are still together. Okay? Do we see it from the same perspective?
Yes.
Please, I beg you guys, don't disappoint me, because this is a very interesting lesson that each and everyone should know, should take care of. If you don't know stress, it will be difficult for you to be in talks with someone whose native language is English. Understandable? Yes. Let's go. Let's continue. Yeah. Let us go to proverb. Of course, this is the stress is on P. Now, if you add something else, like you see what is going to happen here. Okay? Proverb. When you add suffix IALO on the proverb, the stress shifts from P to V because of that suffix. Suffix has made it possible for the stress to move. Can't you see it now? Clear. The ones read like proverb. Now it is read like proverbial. Okay, let's continue. Yeah. The following endings cause the stress to shift to another syllable. Okay? Now, I want you to take a look at these suffixes and think about these words. You see, courage, okay? Now, when you add the suffix on courage, the stress moves, the stress shifts, and it is read like courageous. The ones read like courage, it is now courageous. Okay? Courageous. Then for words ending in IANO, like you have seen here on proverbial, okay? Now it is commercial. You see stress on C, now it is on M. It has moved because of this suffix. Okay? Now you see words ending in IAN with this ending in such a suffix. You see, for example, comedy. You don't pronounce comedy because the stress tells you how to read this word. Okay? Accordingly. Yeah. Comedian. Comedian. The stress has shifted from C to M because of this suffix. Okay? Yeah. Let us go to I, L, and N. You see, the stress is on G. The stress is on G. Okay? And now you see, generation. Why? Because of this suffix. Generation. Understandable? Okay? Generation. Why has it moved? Because of this suffix. Now let's continue. I think we understand it the same. Okay? I see. As far as you remember, we had talked about it beforehand. Okay? I see. Remember? On photographic, geographic. That we got two syllables backwards. Okay? Economy, you see where the stress is? It has become economic. 1, 2. 1, 2. Miki, no. You just count two syllables backwards from this very end. Then you get to stress. Why so? It's because of this suffix that has been added to this one. Okay? Now, you see, 1, 2, 3. Economy. I'm very sorry here. The stress is not here. The stress is not here, it is here. On can me. Okay? I'm very sorry here. Now, generation because of this ending. Because of this, the stress has moved. Now you can consider the following words. They are just like this. Ik and equal. For words ending in such suffixes, they are stressed with the same. We don't have any problem about this. Philosophical. And think about such words. Okay? Now, for words ending in IT, Y, you see electric, electricity. Now, it was on electric here, okay? It is here on electric. I'm sorry, I forgot to stress here, but there's no problem here. You have to stress here. Electricity. Electricity. Now, electric, electricity. Electric. Graphic, electricity. Yeah. On graphic, filter, photography, photography. Okay, let's see the rest. Yeah, hierarchical. These are the examples. I told you key and equal and same. IC and the ICALO are stressed the same. Okay. Yeah, hierarchical. You have seen. Okay, now you see here there is now let us consider the following words. Development. Okay, these suffixes don't cause any stress effect. Okay, suffix like menti and ing don't cause, suffixes like this don't cause any stress effect. Yeah, example. Now, what are the examples of words? Can you tell me the examples? Yeah, the following are examples. Okay, you see, facilitate. Yeah, the same as this. Fullness and the full. Beautifulness, like this. Okay, now you see, facilitate. When you add I and T, the stress remains here on C. It does not move because this does not cause any stress to shift when you add it to any word. Okay? Organize. The stress is here. Organizing. The stress is still here because in ing form doesn't cause the stress to shift. Okay? Verify. The stress is here and verifying. You see? Yeah. Also, acknowledgement. Embezzlement. So stress does not shift when you've been given such words. Now, let's continue. Yeah. Now, what I want you to do is this. Rewrite the following words by using stress accordingly, provided I understand, and I think you've learned more about this. So don't disappoint me. This is your work. Manage to stress them accordingly. Yes. This is a yardstick by which to see whether you have memorized the rules to comply with when it comes to stress. Okay. Now, stress on compound words. How do we stress on compound words? Consider the following. The compound words are stressed on the second word when the first one is adjectival. When the first one is adjectival, make sure that you stress the second word. Okay? But if the compound word behaves like a simple word, it is stressed as natural. Okay? Now you see, for example, gentleman, background, typewriter, sunrise, living room. They are stressed like this. They are not like this because it behaves like a simple word. Okay? But this behaves like behaves adjectively. It is an adjective. No, it behaves adjectively. Okay. There's no need to belabor the point because I know very much that you understand because it's the same word. Okay, voiceless and voiced consonants. Now, voiceless and voiced consonants. Here I have to explain something about it. If you want to consider words like what are voiceless and voiced consonants, okay? You have to do like this. Can you see me? Do like this. If you pronounce like, for example, za, za, of course, there is a sound, a buzzing sound that you can hear, head voice. Za, there is a buzzing sound that comes to your head. When you add the ed, it is pronounced as d. For example, organize d. Okay? But when you pronounce like sa, for example, miss. Okay? When you add ed, okay, it sounds like t. Okay? Misty. Mist, not mist. Not mist, but mist, mystical. Because of what? When you pronounce it sa. Okay? Sa. That head voice is not heard. Okay? To me, that is a voiceless consonant. On voiceless consonants, when you add the ed, it sounds like t. Ka. Talk t. Talk t. Because when you say ka, it is spoken outside, not side. Okay? And you therefore say talk t. Don't say talk d. No? Talk t. Pass t. Okay? But say rub d, grab d. Because b is pronounced, there's a head voice. Okay. Now it is understandable, and for more information, I think we still have time to marvel this. Okay, now let's continue. Well, we still have time to take out of this. Don't you have any problem? Yeah. Now, rewrite the following words in phonetics and stress. Now, okay, you have as a yardstick by which to see whether you have understood. Manage to write these words using phonetics. Okay? Using phonetics. As you have already seen. By using phonetics. Manage to write them by using phonetics. And correct yourself after checking them from the dictionary. Okay? Sandwich, increase, house, useful, that. Now, this is that. Okay? That and that are different. This is conjunction. It is that, not that. That. And this is not use, but use. Now, manage to write in phonetics. I think it's going to be easy for you. What is next? Luckily, this is very end of today's lesson. I, teacher, I'm known by the appellation Isaac, and for those ones who have not understood more, I'm still here to help you, and I know very much that each and every one will be able to use stress, suprasegmentals, by respecting stress and phonetics correctly, okay? And keep practicing, and the dictionary can help you. For those ones with the smartphones, please manage to download a dictionary app because it will help you very much. Thank you.